Live, this is News 4 Tucson at 4.
All right, we'd like to hear that, Jimmy. Thank you. In today's Fresh at 4, what are you grilling on the 4th? Burgers, ribeyes, how about some ribs? Our food contributor Jennifer English takes us to the U of A's Meat Science Lab, where the guru of meat, Dr. John Marcello, gives us a lesson on the tastiest and best cuts to grill.
With all of the seasonal grilling that we're about to get started with, from Father's Day on through 4th of July and the rest of the summer, what one or two cuts can you turn us on to that are those butcher's cuts? Well, we can go into almost any good meat.
I like the back ribs because, boy, you can put them on a barbecue grill and make it very desirable. I like the flat iron.
Back ribs,
flat iron, yeah. And then, of course, there's nothing wrong with the good boneless ribeye or New York cut.
Yeah, but those get to be expensive.
Yeah, right,
what are the things that you know to take home? Say, oh, there's only one or two of those an animal one.
Yeah, we'll show you down here. We can get chuck eyes, which are very good, and they're a less expensive cut. And then there's the tri-tip. I'm not the tri-tip. I mean the triceps brachii muscle, which is actually they call it a rancher steak, or there's about 5 different names of that, which is a very desirable barbecuing cut. And we'll show you that once she gets us off there. So that's a cheaper cut, and it has great tenderness to it. Then there's a smaller steak that comes from the top of the chuck called the petite. It's very good. And they're only about so big. Yeah.
And we just go to the butcher and say, can I have...
Well, yes, more time. They'll probably say, are you crazy? But that's the terminology that we use. But no, they'll probably cut those. Depends upon how these come into them. Most of these are going to be box meat cuts and boneless. See, so he should be able to get it. Now she was feeling for the scapula there, so she can make her cut right down the spinal process of the scapula. Okay. You sure you're right? Okay. Now he's boning it. He's moving those back ribs. To me, that's a very desirable piece of meat. If you like to gnaw on bones, you know.
Yeah. Well, my grandma always said, my Nana always said that the sweetest meat was at the bone. Is there any truth to that? Is the meat sweeter? It's just more delicious?
To me, it's a wives' tale. But, you know, if some people want to say that, now that I would take and run home with it and fix it.
I would run home with that too.
Now he's got the boneless.
Where does that go? That's going home with you.
No.
I don't know what the
ribeye. Now he's going to cut boneless ribeyes out of them. He's checking on the thickness of them. Inch. So they're inch steaks. We don't like to cut steaks less than an inch.
Especially on a beautiful cut like that, I would imagine.
Now he's got a little more tail on that, but as soon as he cuts one off, we'll show you basically what's done. And now he's trimming it. So squaring up the cut.
Stew, right?
Do you want stew? Okay. See, so I trim that off. There's your boneless ribeye. And that's actually from the big end. So you'll see a couple more muscles involved in there than you do in the small end. But they're still very tender.
My mouth
I'm sitting
is
here
watering.
licking my lips.
Yeah, I'm a meat lover. I can't help it.
You know, I used to always be a meat lover, and then I sort of got weaned off because it didn't taste the way it tasted when I was young and when I was a kid, and I learned what a steak was supposed to taste like. And with the artisanal meat movement that's taking place across the country, ranchers and small producers alike are going to great lengths to get really great meat flavor back. And the meat cutters are sharing their information with us, so we know these flavorful cuts to go for, and the value cuts are oftentimes things like the chuck eye, which if you play your cards right and you shop the sales, are basically ribeyes at chuck steak prices. And I actually brought for your 4th of July enjoyment something that Dr. Marcello turned me onto, the flank steak. If you've been to a restaurant in the last 20 years, maybe the last 10 especially, flank steak found a place of notoriety, if not honor, on menus all over the place as chefs realize this is one of those value cuts that you could extract a lot of flavor from, but add a lot of flavor to. So it made it to the menu, and it oftentimes might feel like it's a little tough. Dr. Marcello said what you need to do is tenderize it. They feed it through the tenderizing machine. These are now quick cooking, super flavor steak. It's just unbelievable.
Is that what flat iron steak is?
Well, this is a flank steak, and some people say flat iron and hanger steaks. There are lots of different names. This, to my knowledge, and we have a chef here today, I don't think that this is the same thing as the flat iron steak. I think the flat iron and the hanger are the same, but I'll look into that and I'll find out. But the flank steak, which is kind of around here, it's not a big piece of meat, and it's a muscle of movement, as we heard them talk.
It's going to be a little tougher.
Muscle of locomotion versus connection. So it might have toughness, which is why the tenderizing goes. Red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. I just got back from New England, the coast of Maine. I had the most exquisite blueberry pie. The secret to a great blueberry pie with frozen Maine blueberries. Don't need to use the fresh. Use the frozen. I've got these beautiful Driscoll berries. It's berry season all over the country. And 4th of July, where I grew up in New England, was all about berries. They're in abundance right now. We're going to tell you a little bit more about why we're so excited about berries. I did a variation on my popcorn. I did a chocolate chipotle popcorn. What's really nice about this is once you pop your popcorn regularly, I just add a simple blend of prepared cocoa and chipotle to it.
Delicious.
Chocolate, and it's just a little bit different than what you might normally have.
And the tamales?
Tucson Tamale Company has become a favorite of everybody in town. They come up with these seasonal tamales, Thanksgiving tamales at Thanksgiving time. What they have for this week only, and it's only this week, are the red, white, and blue tamales. They knocked me out with these. This is a red pepper masa around a beautiful smoked barbecue pork with a barbecue sauce. The regular white tamale is their classic smoked barbecue chicken, and then this beautiful blue corn tamale is filled with calabacitas and cheese.
And before we run out, I understand
before we run out
of
of time, our good friends at Lowe's have the berry butler in the house for the next couple of days, the Friday, Saturday. Your personal berry butler will bring you the beach berry smoothie. And what am I having?
Beach berry cocktail.
And we have a smoothie and a cocktail. All guests up at Lowe's hotels all over the country. And the best part is they've got a special this weekend. Do a staycation. Fat Burger's doing their reunion out there on Sunday. You can stay there for short money.
Happy 4th.
Happy 4th.
Thank you.
Stay cool.